6:15. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Here's the news edited by Lakshman Fonseca and read by J. Yogaraj. First, the headlines. The Sri Lanka Banks Association issues a statement on warning over the rise in online scams. Religious ceremony was conducted according to Buddhist rituals in Sri Lanka in line with the funeral of Professor Nalin De Silva held in California. The Government of India decided to bear the cost of applicable taxes for the passenger ferry services between Nagapattinam and KKS. The Asian Development Bank reiterates its unwavering commitment to support Sri Lanka. The Met Department says the temperature felt on the human body will remain high over the next 2 weeks. News overseas: Gaza talks continue, but still no clear sign of agreement. And those are the headlines. The Sri Lanka Banks Association, Lanka Pay and FinCert issued a joint statement on warning the general public over the rise in online scams. The statement said that they have been alerted regarding several incidents of financial fraud, both globally and in Sri Lanka, disguised as attractive online offers, leading to mobile device users clicking on unknown links and downloading malicious apps and files. The statement added, once the fraudsters take control of the mobile device, they have easy access to bank payment applications that are installed on that device, leading to theft from bank accounts and payment cards accessed via the mobile device. Through the joint statement, they advise the general public to be more vigilant in order to avoid falling prey to such scams. The funeral of Professor Nalin De Silva held in California, USA today, May 5th, to mark the funeral arrangements have been made to conduct a religious ceremony according to the Buddhist rituals in Sri Lanka. Several national and international organizations led by Mahasangha conducted the religious rites at the All Ceylon Buddhist Congress, Colombo 7 this evening. The ceremony has been organized by the chief incumbent of Dharma Ayatanaya, Colombo 7, Venerable L.A. Gunawansatero, and the chairman of the Chintana Parshad, Venerable Bengamu Nalakatera. National leaders led by Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena participated in this event. Speaking at the gathering, Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena said the service rendered by the late Professor Nalin De Silva was remarkable and historical. He commended his services for the betterment of the Sinhalese culture and Buddhism, and said the vacuum created by the demise will not be able to fill for a long time. This news comes to you from Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The Government of India has decided to bear the cost towards applicable taxes and other charges to the tune of over 2.5 or 25 million rupees per month for the passenger ferry services between Nagapattinam and Kankesanture. The tax benefit will be applicable for a period of 1 year. The passenger ferry service, which was launched in October 2023 by the Shipping Corporation of India, will resume on the 13th of May. It will be operated by a private operator. In a statement, the Government of India said the government has decided to bear the cost towards applicable taxes and other charges to the tune of over 25 million rupees per month for a period of 1 year in order to make the service affordable and attractive for passengers. The Asian Development Bank has reiterated its unwavering, steadfast commitment to support Sri Lanka. The president of the ADB, Masatsuka Asakawa, has communicated this to the State Minister of Finance, Shan Semasinga, during a discussion held on the sidelines of the ADB annual meeting being held in Tbilisi, Georgia. Posting on X, State Minister Semasinga stated that Mr. Asakawa also commended President Ranil Wickremesinghe and the government on the steady progress made on the economy and action plan published on the governance diagnostic report. The Met Department says the temperature felt on the human body will remain high over the next 2 weeks. Senior meteorologist Chaminda De Silva said the situation is not expected to ease until the southwest monsoon currents begin to develop around the island. Meanwhile, health officials have repeated their advice to people on the importance of staying hydrated, as heat stress could cause health issues. They said extreme heat conditions could lead to dehydration, and it can worsen pre-existing medical issues such as kidney or lung diseases and also lead to sudden heart attacks or strokes. They said extra care must be taken over vulnerable groups such as those over 65 years, infants, young children and pregnant mothers, and they stressed the importance of drinking water even before one feels thirsty. And that's local news.
The main news story is brought to you by Sinhala Veda.
The GC Ordinary Level exam will commence tomorrow, May 6th, and conclude on the May 15th. Commissioner General of Examinations Amit Jayasundar said about 452,979 candidates will sit for the exam. The examination will be held at 3,527 centres and 535 coordination centres have also been set up to facilitate the examination. The Commissioner General of Examination said that a special team comprising of ministry and departmental officials will be deployed to visit examination centres to supervise how the examination is conducted. He added only the Chief Examination Officer and their deputy will be allowed to carry mobile phones into the examination hall, and all other staff would not be able to or will not be allowed to do so. The restrictions have been tightened after the Agriculture Paper 2 leaked via mobile phone at the last exam. Investigations revealed that the paper had been leaked from a centre in Moratuwa to a person in Ampara. And that's top news.
The main news story was brought to you by Sinhala Veda.
The Met Department forecasts that the maximum temperature in the north and north-central and eastern provinces as well as Monoragala district will range from 36 to 37 degrees Celsius until the second week of May. The department said that the heat index is expected to increase up to caution level at some places in western, Sabarkama and southern provinces. Renowned Sri Lankan professor of coastal oceanography Charita Patiarachi at the University of Western Australia warned high temperatures and humidity combined with low winds will increase the temperature up to 40 plus degrees Celsius in the island. And that was Watchlight. Moving on to world news. Headlines: Gaza talks continue but still no clear sign of agreement. Dozens of people died of heat stroke in India. The World Weather Attribution says the powerful rainstorm that wreaked havoc on UAE was likely made more intense because of climate change. And those are the headlines of the world news. Talks are reportedly underway in the Egyptian capital Cairo to secure a deal for a Gaza ceasefire and release of hostages. Israeli media reported that Israel will not send delegates to Cairo unless Hamas accepts the recent proposal. Media reported that a delegation of Islamic group Hamas and US CIA Director William Burns have arrived in Egypt. Egypt is mediating the talks. Hamas said it will come to the negotiating table with a positive attitude in order to reach an agreement. The punishing heat wave has pushed temperatures past 50 centigrade in some areas in India. Some schools have closed early for the summer. Dozens of people have died of heat stroke. The region is already hard hit by climate change. Extreme heat is common in May, but not in April and March, both of which were the hottest across much of India for more than a century. People are saying that they need a lot of cold drinks, air conditioning and multiple baths a day. Only a fraction of Indians, mostly the wealthy, have air conditioning. Instead, people soak rags in water and hang them in doors and windows. Still, electric fans and AC have pushed India's electricity demand to a record high. A powerful rainstorm that wreaked havoc on the UAE last week was likely made more intense because of climate change. The World Weather Attribution (WWA) group says rainstorms may become 10 to 40% more intense because of human-induced climate change. The storm was also a product of El Nino cyclonic warning in the Pacific Ocean, and that leads to more rain in the region, the researchers said. And that's world news. Development news. Export Development Board says the UK, Germany, Netherlands, Canada and China have shown positive growth among the top 10 export markets of Sri Lanka. Export Development Board headed USA, Sri Lanka's single largest export destination, increased by 2.39% to $241.5 million in March 2024 compared to March 2023. However, exports to America in the cumulative period of January to March 2024 decreased by $711.57 million compared to corresponding period in 2023. And that was development news.
Moving on with sports news.
Sri Lanka Cricket has awarded the national rugby team a prize of $30,000 in recognition of their victory at the Asia Rugby Division 1 Championship. Sri Lanka Cricket President Shami Silva said the decision was taken to honour the players and coaches involved in this remarkable win. He added Sri Lanka Cricket expresses great satisfaction with the achievement as it elevates the national rugby team to the top tier of the Asian rugby circle. And that was sports news.
Go ekak thiyana youth eකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න as වහගෙන දැකපු හීන හැබැ කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all new NSB Ithru account, NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Apple sales have fallen in almost every market across the globe. The company said that demand for its smartphones dropped by more than 10% in the first 3 months of this year, while overall sales fell in every geographic region except for Europe. Apple said that overall revenues across the company declined by $90.8 billion, which was the biggest drop for more than a year. And that was business news.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Go ekak thiyana youth eකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න as වහගෙන දැකපු හීන හැබැ කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all new NSB Ithru account, NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
In economic news, the annual meeting of Asian Development Bank officially began in Georgia's capital, Tbilisi, on Saturday. The ADB is committed to assisting countries in Asia and the Pacific by providing loans, grants and technical assistance for the infrastructure and other projects. During the opening ceremony, ADB President Asakawa Masatsuku noted that the world's poorest and most vulnerable populations, including people in island nations, are suffering due to climate change, economic shocks and conflict. He stressed that no one should be denied the benefits of the development. And that was development news.
Weather report.
The Met Department says showers or thundershowers will occur at several places in western, Sabaragamu and central provinces and in Galle and Mathura districts after 2 p.m. Showers or thundershowers may occur at a few places in northwestern province during the afternoon or night. A few showers may occur over the coastal areas of Puttalam to Galle via Colombo during the morning too. Misty conditions can be expected at some places in central and Sabaragamu provinces during the morning time. And that was the weather report. To wind up this news broadcast, let's look at the main points once again. The Sri Lanka Banks Association issues a statement on warning over the rise in online scams. Religious ceremony was conducted according to Buddhist rituals in Sri Lanka in line with the funeral of Professor Nalin De Silva held in California. The government of India decided to bear the cost of applicable taxes for the passenger ferry services between Nagapattinam and KKS. The Asian Development Bank reiterates its unwavering commitment to support Sri Lanka. The Met Department says the temperature felt on the human body will remain high over the next 2 weeks. The news overseas Gaza talks continue, but still no clear sign of agreement. And with that, we conclude this evening news podcast of Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Back to Mario Vichavardhana to keep you company with the rest of the programs this Sunday evening.